that all the other thoughts started to pop up. All right, I'm doing DMT. I'm out of here. Like that was like that's what wanted to happen. Or probably if he would have took it, he probably would have. I don't know.
I mean, I will agree with you on that. All that planning does kind of like detriment sometimes.
Yeah.
I remember it was one time I was going to do DMT. I was going to do DMT and I was sitting in the dark and I was like, all right, my daughter probably gonna wake up or something like that. Thought popped up, and then she actually did come in, and it was like 1 in the morning. Then I was speaking more to my inner self, and it was like I wanted that to happen. So you know, I gotta take it. And then I was like, take it again, and then the fire alarm or something, some alarm or something went off. I was like, oh, and then but then I still did it happen, and then I was able to. I can't describe, but the scenery that I was imagining was made real. Like, yes, that all was happening, and now this is happening. Whatever the journey was at the moment. I was able to float on out. But all the coincidences, the things wasn't out of place. Because
Yeah,
nothing's
follow
ever
the
out of
synchronicity. It'll show you
Yeah.
where you need to be.
What's up, welcome one? Yeah, that's how I feel. Like most of the times I went in, like even when I tried to pick days, like when that day come, it never worked out. But then it'll be like that one day it just happened, and it's like, dang, wait, hold on, nothing is happening today. Like I don't have to do this. Okay, I'm gonna just do it today. Just end up just kind of going in.
I think going, it is the third. The third is my day. It is a Friday as well. Three is my favorite number. New Year's Friday. I might do it today. Maybe not. Maybe I don't know. I had a good feeling about today. Honest to God, like I have this strong irking feeling. Like yo, I just need to just. I need to escape. Like I don't know, man. Like I've been having like this low key existential crisis lately, where like I don't know if you guys ever went through this, but like lately this year. I
Daily.
hated psychedelics. I'm gonna be real with you. I did not want to touch a psychedelic really. Like the little bit of trips I did do, like off the mushrooms, it was really off the mushroom tea. And I didn't break through on those. They were
What's
fun,
up with it,
but
Jonathan?
then it's not like I wanted to do those trips. I only went into those mushroom trips because
Tristan?
my girlfriend wanted to do mushroom tea one day. And the DMT, I just couldn't break through with that. It's hard.
Welcome one.
I'm trying to learn the technique with DMT. Like True's trying to teach me and shit, but other than that, I just been terrified of psychedelics this year. Like absolutely terrified. Almost as
Thank,
if my
thank,
ego has created like this defense mechanism to tell me you don't want to do psychedelics anymore. Which is not true, but it's true.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
true in the moment.
That's part of it. That's just part of it, I think, bro. 'Cause I done got to that point a lot of different times. But like I said, that day will come and you'll just be like, oh, dang, it's the perfect time right now. This is perfect. This is the time. I'm free. I got about 30 minutes. DMT only take 10, 15 minutes. Like, I got about 30 minutes. Why not?
Facts. Facts.
But I
You
think
know,
I think I went in so many times. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes you get traumatized because it's like once you trip, you never leave the trip. The trip just continues. It's like you once you trip, it doesn't go away. It doesn't go away. You're gonna be tripping the rest of your life.
see when you say shit like that, new trippers come in like, what the fuck you mean by that?
I
no.
mean,
It's like once you learn math, 1 plus 1 things, you'll always see it.
yeah, like
It's
riding
really
a
simple.
bike. Like riding a bike. Like riding a bike. I had the concept because it was something Just Ty said earlier that I was thinking about. I forgot about it though. But it's like once you go, it's like, yeah, it opens up. And it's like it's the synchronicity. You begin to see it. You begin to understand it. And it's like it just don't go away though. It don't go away. Those feelings, those thoughts, those different things, they stay there, bro.
And yeah, and then when you take a little bit, you get just a little glimpse of what you saw before, and you're like, do I want to go back there? Do I really want to go back there?
It's like, yes, I do. But I think what it is you don't want to, like, you don't really want to lose touch with this reality, and a lot of
Yeah,
people do
that's
that.
what it is.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of people do that. They lose touch with this right here, and you don't
Yeah,
want
Right.
to do that.
exactly. Remember the first LSD trip when I was like, "Oh, I'm crazy now. Like, how is my life gonna be that I'm crazy now? Like,
Yeah,
what's gonna
Lord.
happen?" It was so sad. I was terrified. I was like, "Well, do I have to go into an
yeah,
institution, or what's gonna happen? Like, who's gonna take care of me? Obviously, I'm not thinking straight." It was
yeah,
terrifying.
yeah. And you,
That's
because you
what
feel like you
makes
stuck. It's like I'm gonna be stuck.
But that's what makes the story so cool, True. Like the stuck feeling and the here and there feeling is
Hmm.
that a mushroom cool journey, so to speak. If a person can really let go and see some things, you'll see how it's all still connected to what's here, and how a lot of the systems that we built up here, I mean, we built up while living. It's not that they're wrong or right, but how they say a higher self or something else coming into being. Like this world is so malleable, and evolution really does happen in certain ways. So, it can be in itself. I like the color red. Color red is my favorite color. And then you go on a journey, and you see yourself in another reality choosing the color blue. And then you're
Yeah,
like, hold up, I chose blue? What is going on? Ain't no blue type of guy. Like, no, it's red all day. And then you come back and you're like, man, whenever I see that blue, it just triggers me. But it's really that simple. It really is a color thing, a religion thing, or do I want to get up in the morning? Do I want to have this motivation, or do I want to? And the ultimate control still lies in what you really want to do. But who we are more than tell ourselves at times, because we're we're all connected in mind high kind of thing ways. So in ways we're giving whispers to each other. Just like the trees can say a whisper or something, a person can say a whisper. And it's not just to go hug the tree or take what somebody is saying for face value, but to hear the whisper that then correlate in that same psychedelic mind that then slowly starts configuring things a little differently on the screen of reality, like on the
yeah,
computer screen. Do all that coding in the background. People don't even know that person exists and stuff. They just like, I got the app. The app works on the screen. I talked to the representative that will call the dev developer or something like that. But we have those developers in our mind, and that's why we can even experience those things. We are those developers. Because like I ran across a new science article saying they did this study that our brains, certain people, well, the people in the study brains, was processing information at 10 bits per second. And that's kind of slow how computers we can get them to do. But it's enough for us to comprehend the reality around us. So we taking the information through our eyes, it's going through our brain at 10 bits per second. And then we notice what's going on. But yet our eyes have trillions of receptors around it. And this is what the scientists said, not a hippie. Our eyes have
yeah,
trillions of receptors. And it's so much gamma rays and so much different frequencies in in the world around us. But and it's going through our eyes. But because of how our brain is working at that 10 bits per second, it's only processing certain bits of the reality around from the information it's taking in. And I think that even has thought process, stuff like that, as well as visual cues, information. That's what helps form the thought process. Because, oh, this is where I am. It happens based on what I see. So I was just thinking that not everybody brain runs on 10 bits per second. And I was thinking about psychedelics or mindful situations, or stressful situations, or people really want to change. Is that an opportunity when brain is working at more than 10 bits per second, and now you can see the trees moving, colors right in front of your face. Thoughts are now rapidly expanding. It's like, oh wow, I'm seeing more of the world that's right there in front of my face the whole time.
Yeah, it's been
Like,
right
it's
there. It's
so
always been right there.
literally.
They say I've always theorized this too, but they say that psychedelics like ultimately it alters your DNA. And I forgot what it said specifically. Um, but I've always theorized that like, man, I've taken so many psychedelics, and there has to be a way where it's like it has to be doing something to like my genetics or like the way my brain functions genetically to the point where um I'm taking in, like you said, like it's no longer just that the basic processing of like these ideas of 8 bits. It's probably something a little bit tad extra, a little bit more, even just like a smidget of a nudge of uh, a higher frequency, higher ability to retain and obtain, receive information. It's still a that's just impressive. Like to even think about like the experiences one can like have with psychedelics, and then thinking about like yo, our brains are only processing around about that much information, and we're able to do all of this. We're able to read and write and formulate like composing like poetry and all types of things, man. And it's just like
It's
8 bits.
weird.
It's crazy.
Like I was talking to Exile about it today. Like it's like to me like it's weird because psychedelics get you out of the concept of being like human and like the human
Yeah.
thought process because like we were given this thing that we are human, we are man, we are woman, we are these things, and psychedelics push you outside of that and kind of shows you that you are more than that. That's not just
Mm-hmm.
what you are. That's just another idea, another
Or
shell that you're wearing.
what we've been told a human is.
Yeah, yeah.
Excuse
And it's weird
me, for
because
something much
because
greater.
because sometimes it'll take your thoughts into the deepness of still being human, of being this human thing, when in actuality we are not. I think, like I was saying earlier, Ty, I think that's something that we made up. I'm
Mm-hmm.
human, you man. Look, Cryo's a white man, I'm a black man. These are different things that kind of set the ideas and set our reality up in a way to make us see things a certain way. And then when you take
Yeah,
psychedelics, it pushes you outside of that, like boom. And it's like,
yeah, we saying the same thing. Cause, cause I was just saying that what is a human? Like when that's why people sometimes treat people differently when they have an idea of what the seemingly person in front of them is. Oh, that thing in front of them has ideas. Like
yeah,
people used to not hug their kids in the past, and they used to have to put PSAs out in the 1940s to come home and treat your kids cool. Like they
yeah,
do stuff with.
yeah, exactly.
You hey, you guys mind if I like? Cause I was with Toss on me. I was running some shit the other day, and I wanted to like uh go over like one part of this stuff with you guys and see what you guys thought about it, if you don't mind.
Yeah, what's up, Big Chill?
Y'all want to see what I'm eating?
That look good.
What's that, shrimp or chicken?
It's shrimps
Yeah,
with
Happy
some
New Year,
fried
y'all.
peppers.
Nice.
Oh, there it goes.
Now, what was you saying, Ego?
I said I was writing some stuff the other day, like some philosophy the other day, and I got to a point where, well, this is a little point where I wanted to talk to you guys about, or like get your ideas or opinion about, if y'all don't mind.
Let's go.
All right. Um.
What's up, Christos?
Okay. It is strange
There's
how, from my
peace.
experiences with God, have usually been very emotional. It has told me that to follow my heart when trying to form a connection with Him. Quotation marks. From what little I know from the Gnostic text, says that Christ is the Logos, logic. Through experience of the Logos, one's soul is free in the experience of Gnosis. I'm not sure if what I experienced is this gnosis or a psychotic break. Either way, I feel as if the experience and others similar have said basically the same thing. If the pure emotion that is singing to your heart when looking for God is what one must follow to become closer to God, then wouldn't that trump logic and reason? And if it becomes opposed to it, and if one refuses uh, this call to being or the missectum of this, the missa, the missa actium, what could, what would that mean for one's soul? So like, I'm gonna start right here. So like, what I meant by like missa missa ticum, I can't like I'm having a hard time saying the word. I just found the word yesterday.
Yeah.
But like
Miss-
it's old Latin for message. And basically one the message being like that sensation that you feel in your heart when you're hearing somebody preach about something, talk about something, and you're really pulling to it. It's really pulling you. Uh that sensation is what I'm calling the missectum, the missatictum, whatever call it, the call to being is another word for it, the call to being. Um, but this sensation, I'm saying, what I'm trying to get at is like I'm having this like uh this conflict with like my philosophy because I've always been like a logic based type person. I've always been like, you gotta follow with like, logic and reason because that trumps all things. But like
Yeah.
going to my psychedelic experiences, it's telling me almost the exact opposite. You know what I'm saying? It's telling me to follow your heart. It's telling me to like do what you feel is right, basically. Like use your intuition, things like that. Just literally telling me to go off of feelings, and I can't like. It's just like I never really thought about it too much until recently. How like that completely contradicts to like how I personally think. Like uh if it is true that like okay I need to just like follow my heart and whatnot and I'll you know receive and obtain this experience of quote unquote God, then like wouldn't that mean that using your logic and your analytical skills to deduce a situation as like good or bad is ultimately arbitrary? Like it doesn't mean anything because if you feel like shit, you're like one base trying to get is your feelings in this regard. It feels as if it is the most important thing to reality, to your reality. It is more important to follow one's feelings than to it seems like than to go with a logical basis. And if that's true, um, that means like ultimately the things that we classify as we already know that right and wrong. There's no right and wrong. There's no good or evil. But let's say something like
If there's no
I'm
right
over
and wrong, then there's no anything because everything is just patterns that we label. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
right, right. So like wouldn't that just be the true or correct way to live life? Wouldn't that be the more optimal way to do things, just to go from to just go by emotion?
Well, everything has a
And
style, right? So if you're choosing a style of life, like your lifestyle is one where you value logic, you can use that as a tool to reduce your suffering. But not everybody thinks logically, even if they try to. Most people do everything based on emotion,
Yep.
everything. And when they do that, they just defend it with logic afterwards as an afterthought.
That was
Yeah.
man.
Hey,
That's crazy,
How Bill,
ego.
That's okay.
That's
without
crazy.
we will actually go to things that we like, we think things are beneficial for us, and we'll go away from things that we don't value, that we don't think are beneficial for us. That's not a cookie cutter though. I appreciate and the answer to your question is yes and no. It really depends on how we're using that logic. Are we using it in an inclusive way or a separate? I mean, we can know the truth either way, but it's kind of like how you're using it in that situation. I don't know if it's a cookie cutter where we can apply that theme to every single day, every single moment, because driving down the road or cutting a carrot or taking care of a baby, there's certain logical, what we might call logical things that we need to do to get that
Exactly.
Look,
action completed. But then by
Awesome.
following your heart, following your excitement, following your passion, you can then go beyond the limits of what your logic can give you. Because logic tries to put, in my experience, logic tries to put things in a box
yeah,
to separate it. And it's like dissecting Barry Manilow's voice or Chief Keef's voice to find the song. You're not going to find the song that he's singing by cutting him up, right? It's only in the acceptance of the entirety, if that makes sense.
yeah,
Yep.
Well, what if you
ego,
cut numbers
ego.
listening to the song up? Would the song
Wait,
be in there?
hold on, cry, hold on. Let me read what UL just said to ego. He said, "Are you actually using logic, or have you learned to repeat patterns?"
Mm-hmm.
Good question. That's a good question.
That's why you gotta feel good. I
And that
know I ain't looking right, but it feels good.
what's up with it, Killer Pop Twinkly. Hey,
Yeah,
it's
so
that was my thing last night. That was my thing last night. What me and Exile was talking about earlier is the fact that like I was tripping off like all last night, bro. That shit would not leave me. Was the fact that we are not human, but we want to be human. We try to be human. We try to be man. We try to be woman, and we try to be all these things that was put forth and like it was told like that's what we should be.
Yeah,
And
it's
then, but
like
we're
getting the
not it.
script to a role, but you gotta be the star. The star is always able to change the script around from what the developers gave him, the writers and stuff. Just let him go do his thing. We trust him. God trust ourselves. We all those things.
Yeah. Yeah, which is the trippiest thing, bro. Because even like our concept of God is something that we made. It's something that we made, and it's a script that we go off of. So
Yeah,
now all our life is built behind that on what we said God was. And God is not that
that's
Yeah,
what people go do. But then you gotta know there's still other people creating gods every day.
every
And
day.
start
Every
working.
yeah.
day. So who's the creator of God?
You
Well,
are.
himself is because if you look at it, there's options and then there's rules.
Georgie.
Because
This king. Breezy
you're
is
the
king.
you know how you can do something with an intent
Uh,
that you built. Well, your intent that you build, your intuition comes from the same place, except the intuition was already built, and you could go to that factory to create more intuition. You call them intent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, man, I don't. I said that like them thoughts I was having. I said that shit is crazy because even when we think of the concept of God and what God is and what human is and what man is, it's like these are all the things that we made, and we said this is what it is, and then everybody has to follow that script. It's like you can't step outside of that script, and I think that's the thing with psychedelics. It make you step outside of the script. Like it was like it make you go outside of that. Like you go beyond being a human or what we thought human was. And it's hard. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard because you want to still hold on to the human concepts, but they don't exist really. That's why everybody can't follow the script. Everybody can't be that thing that that man or that woman. Everybody can't because it's not even a thing. It's like almost an idea that we formed once we came up with language and all these different things, and we start putting names on these things and start boxing them up. And then when we see anything outside of that box, it's like, nah, that's not right.
Oh, true. And that's reflected too in music. If you see how we all remember nursery rhymes and things from like when we were kids, like the ABCs, and then eventually people grow up and become their own novelty of an artist, make their own music and stuff. So it's like there's this template that we follow, that we're given, that we have like that's built off, and then some people realize like, oh, this is, you could put together certain templates. That's why certain songs have like verse, chorus, verse. Some songs are like chorus, chorus. I mean chorus, bridge, etc. There's like different ways to put things together. So it's like when you said psychedelics, like doing psychedelics allows you to like move outside of that. It's like yeah, there's like this like there's this free base. Honestly, like just a free base everything. This is where your thoughts can like come into points.
Yeah, exactly. This man always know. You know too much. You and Cryo know too much. You...
What you be on,
But it's
Georgie?
simple
Yeah,
because you
what
know
you
it's
be
true.
on, George?
All it takes is one trip, man. You literally can figure it all out for yourself.
Yeah, you can. It takes.
You know it's true. It's just like the video editing. Like how the video editors, they got the templates and they got like different things that make it easy for people. You can use the app and do what people have been trying to do for years in just a click of a button. But now you just only can make certain kinds of videos with those templates. But then it's like, hey, if I sit down and contemplate, I could get Premiere Pro or CapCut, cut things up, learn about transitions, get Blender, After Effects, whatever it is. I'm seeing opportunity.
And templates that work, we call them styles. And that's when I always mention the thing of fashion and how everything is fashion. You know, if I address you a certain way, if I dress like this, if my address is my house, right? You feel me? So everything is fashion to like overall. How I fashion myself an artist. You get what I'm saying? So it's like every templates that work, we call them styles because they fit in certain categories because they express certain emotions and they vibe with certain things closer. So we categorize these things, but we know that overall there's a free base template, and a lot of people don't know how you can get out of it to make more of it because they like what they're in.
God is a template.
Yeah, basically. Nobody. It has no body. It's no physical form. You put it into form. You figure it out. A stick figure.
You feel me? He said God is like a singularity. It is a paradox.
Yeah.
Well, if anything, God is just proof that the highest form of consciousness exists outside the rules of physics.
Acceptable for the.
And I think we still talk.
I don't understand that.
A lot of
Like,
Christian
how is
wait one second. A lot of Christian terminology talks about the monotheistic God, one God to rule them all. But in other cultures, like Nordic cultures, there was multiple gods, like what they considered gods, the nature spirit, the forces of the wind, the water, the volcano, and stuff like that.
And all of them was what? And where did all of them come from? The mind.
Yeah.
Yep. I wrote that paper in high school when I was in a Christian.
Ideas of the mind.
Throughout the hours, the things that are mind, you see hours, us together, hours, mind. Throughout the hours of time, the things that are mine, we found.
Yeah, that shit is crazy, bro. Kandip Buell said, a style of an age, a system of patterns that are acceptable for the harmony of the energy that people are resonating with, changing in every age like everything else. And it constantly changes. It's constantly changes.
Yeah, Yahweh wasn't so nice back in the day. He was the warrior storm god. You prayed to him so you could protect your city and go storm the other villages during the Iron Age. And then later on, they put elements of El, which was another god that was other people worshipped in their own forms, and they combined it with Yahweh. But it was to help the people at the time. They was going around trying to survive. It's like we can't let the storms wipe away everything, but we also need to call on the storms to help us fight and take their land.
Wow.
And now people like, that means Jesus. That means be happy.
Yes, it's wild. That shit is wild, bro. It's wild. But we follow these things, and these things is what's generating our shit and making us look at shit the way we do. But it's amazing at the same time because once you step outside of it, you see it so clearly. And I think that's fucking something else that's outstanding is because
Literally
yeah, because literally everybody that goes is, generated
outstanding.
in their own way, You're gonna have everybody's
Well,
gonna have this different God or this different belief in God on what
isn't
God is.
the paradox is that the innermost point is the farthest you can go from yourself, right? But it's also where you are at your truest state. So it's like when you take a psychedelic or meditate or pray and you enter a receptive state, anything could happen. You could see a vision of the stars, you could see a mountainscape with rivers and trees, you could see the visions of beings in whatever motions and environments they're in. But when it comes down to experiencing God, it's like that usually happens not when you take a psychedelic, but just when something so immense happens, you realize there's a force bigger than you at play, Like when you're in a life or death situation and you start praying and you get out of it in a way you can't explain, well, who do you give thanks to?
Yeah, because you was already
Yeah.
like, okay, right? If you in the water and you drowning, you might pray about it, and it's gonna be a human that's gonna jump in and save you. But you gonna say, oh, that was God. God sent them to do that. But what about the people
Literally.
that didn't get saved?
Well, then we say
What
that God
about
chose to
them?
let him go.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like this thing is something that we're
Jesus
creating.
Christ.
Yeah, we creating this thing, and it only works when we want it to work. Or when we, but when it don't work, we go, oh, that, because Satan, you feel me? And it's like, no,
Devil
this
was
is,
working.
yeah, this is one of our ideas. This is this is, and
It's
it's
like
wild.
we need. It's like the other day I was saying, is the narcissist cursed by empathy to make him feel bad because he's successful, or is empathy
No.
poison to the narcissist's power? like
It's
like
the
what?
Narcissists
No.
can
Yeah.
take full advantage of empathetic people. Empathetic people are one of the people that narcissists like to attack the most.
That part. Okay. Thank you, Caleb. The narcissist isn't cursed. The person who has to deal with a narcissist is cursed.
Okay, so the all right. So basically, I be calling myself a narcissist because I listen to other people and what they say when I fucking talk and shit. But at the end of the day, my deepest point is my empathetic self is the one that causes what seems to be received as narcissism by people and shit.
So
Where
you think that your empathy is being misconstrued as narcissism?
yes.
What they're always experiencing.
Wild, man.
At least that's how it feels to me, because to my truest self, I try explaining to everyone, and it's like, this is empathy. That's how I learned empathy. This is how it was taught to me. I see other forms of empathy and how they worked, but to my beliefs and the way I act and how I carry myself, this is how my empathy expresses. Like, it's cursed in me like this. This is how my empathy works. Because I had to, I guess, overcome the fact that I was narcissistic beforehand, before my empathy kind of grew over that rock and became mold and moss on it. You feel me?
Oh, okay.
Right.
Might say it right.
Go like
You're cutting out. You're cutting out.
You sound like a robot.
The end of one circle is actually. Oh,
There you go, right there. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm driving.
I know you're in the sweet
I was
spot.
saying through our going to our limits, we're able to find our center, like the seed of life or the flower of life. The center of one circle is actually the edge of another. So sometimes we'll gyrate between two extremes to find that balance. And we learn by doing, so we wouldn't know by experience, intuition, or how to cut a carrot, how to drive a car. Part of us actually needs to go and do that thing, even though true, we might not be human, we might not be alive or whatever, certain boxes. But through that doing, we're able to go and see that. Now, if I'm not receptive to that experience, I'm not going to be able to catalog it. I'm going to be speaking from somebody else's point of view, the information that I've gathered. But then by going and doing that thing, I'm able to.
You in them mountains again.
I know. You've been raptured.
Why God is what they always experience in the mind. Formless making form.
I got disconnected, but y'all talk about narcissists earlier. I was thinking that even people that are so-called victims can be narcissists because it's a kind of sad thing to talk about. It's kind of hard to explain, but in a way where people say everything is happening to me, it's all happening to me. Why is this happening to me? That's kind of still a narcissist way because it's not just happening to one person. It's happening to many people.
I don't think that's the attributes, though. I think the attributes of a narcissist are people who kind of manipulate you in ways that they're very well aware of,
Malintent.
that you're not aware of.
That's a sociopath. A narcissist is simply a person who takes their insecurities and covers them up. They cover up their insecurities with a false sense of value that's made from toxic sources. So, like, say they have a problem with gambling, and they'll just say, "Oh, well, if I gamble like an extra $5,000, I'll be so happy and I'll be proud of myself." And then they lose it all, and then they're like wondering what happened at the end of it.
Oh, no. I see. Okay. Well, I get what both of y'all are saying, but I agree with Kristen more because of the fact that when I get called a narcissist, it is obviously with with a disgusting intent to call me, like, to degrade me, right? So that must mean my actions that are considered narcissistic are ones that are considering with malintent, like Kristen was saying. You feel me?
Yeah. And they usually are. And narcissists act like they don't know what they're doing, too. But they know very well what they're doing.
If you think about the word also, the nasally sound in that word sounds very sinister.
One of the things about narcissists, bro, is
George,
they're very Machiavellian. They'll screw you over for power.
George, UL said the impact and the narcissist are the same. Just the spectrum shift. Wait, he said.
That's why I'm so confused.
He said just the spectrum shift of perspective.
So the moon represents narcissism and empathy.
Sweet and sour are the same. Hot and cold are the same. Up and down are the same.
How do you torture somebody and act like you're a good person at the end of the day? That's not something that an empathic person would do. That's something that a sick person would do.
They are sick. Narcissism is honestly, it's a mental disorder.
I don't know what it is.
If I could say this real quick, when I let loose in the way I speak, I'm very like a tough love type talk, but it's also reflected in my family too. But I guess I'm tougher than they're used to it, but it's the same like template, if that makes sense. So when I do things and I can see them, you feel me? I can tell that I'm going further because I can tell the energy they're like trying me basically. And I've had my girl has agreed with me where she's like, yeah, I was trying you, and that's how that got out of hand and stuff. But like when I do these things, immediately after, it's like if I can catch myself, I'll stop. But 80% of the time I can't stop, and always immediately after I'm like, you know what, I'm sorry, I'm an asshole for saying that. I shouldn't have took it too far. And then, but usually when I'm talking to the person I'm apologizing to, they're always like, you know, I was being a dick too. You were right too. And like, so that's why I have that's why I agree with Kristen more. You feel me? Because it's like they can tell I'm like working on myself, and it's a lot better than they've known me in the past. You feel me? So it's like now that it's a lot better, they're more forgiving when I
Yeah,
act that way.
it's easier to forgive you when you can acknowledge what you're doing as opposed to
Exactly.
saying, "Do you think I wanted to do this?"
Yin and
Exactly.
yang.
Called
Been
taking
acting like,
responsibility
oh,
of
it's
your
just
actions.
something that happened.
Being an adult.
Essentially, it is the same thing from different perspectives.
Yeah. This was
Up and
it's
down are the same thing from different. Good and bad are the same thing from different perspectives. Sometimes our logic or our experience hasn't yet shown us that, but like what True was saying, like it's whatever we want it to be. Sometimes we don't want that responsibility of limitless, of liberation, because it comes with a
oh,
lot of awareness.
Yeah.
And so realizing that we are the co-creators here, we're only taking from what's available. That's a lot of responsibility or maybe pressure. But a certain person might handle pressure in one way, and a certain person might handle pressure in another way. But we learn how, or how, whatever it is.
The mind is very convincing. That's all I can say. Okay?
Yeah.
The mind
Like
is
Bill was
very
saying,
convincing.
That's a fact.
and it'll lie to us.
Yeah, it
Uh-huh.
will.
The
It
fear,
will.
the anxiety,
Anything
the
for to convince
the
you.
worry wants to perpetuate itself because it's fear is false evidence appearing real. The real doesn't need to be, has no justification. It just simply is. So if we're in fear of something, that's something that's trying to be perpetuated on its own.
Say what people see as
It's a
their
lie.
self.
It needs to cheat. It needs to steal to perpetuate.
Teddy Guerrero.
UL said what people see as they self for an individual doesn't really exist in the mind to the mind, in the mind to the mind. Everything is a character, even the individual, what people call a narcissist, are using that same connection.
Yep, it's all there. If you
Individual.
Just because they're playing the same key doesn't mean they're playing the same song, baby.
I said, I
All the
know,
same song.
shit.
It's all the same shit.
I know reality, the mind, and then sometimes I try to point it out and I try to make it seem like it's reality, but most of the time it be my mind. Because even if I believe something and I accept it, I'll see like my mind will show me in different ways of why I'm right. Like it'll show me in many different ways. It'll even have somebody tell me I'm right, even if I'm wrong. And I'll just continue on with that shit, bro. It's like, the mind is a terrible thing to face. That's all I can say.
That's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah, the mind can lie. The body really doesn't lie.
Mind will lie to you all day.
Hell yeah, all day.
But
all day.
Fuck you.
It'll tell you your mind will be like, yeah, my girl is the beautifulest girl in the world. But that be to you.
Yeah. All right, I'm almost ready,
Logan. Yeah.
She's the one. Yeah, to you. Hey, what you up to? George, what you up to, man?
Rolling a blunt.
Oh yeah.
I haven't been doing nothing. I've just been chilling. I've been just in a meditative state, to be honest.
Yeah. You been working a lot lately?
No, I was at this custodian place, but I had to leave, and now I'm waiting on this lady to put me as a trash helper, like the people that pick up trash.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be doing that. That has hella money in it. But
I'm going, bro. I'm telling you, bro. This shit that we created, bro, is a treasure trove of just everythingness. Like I said, I was even thinking about that shit. Like every time I think about it now, I'm like going language. Like when we came with language, bro, that's when the human being was created. We think the human was created at this time or this happened and that happened. I think the human was
That was
created,
man.
created
That
once
was
we
man.
created language. And language came into play and we said, okay, yeah, we are man. These are the
Because
animals.
language is a better form of expression of the spirit. So, and the spirit is multiple colored, which is why we call all colors hues. So we said, okay, so this man can now express himself in a more colorful way. We have to name them humans.
And it's wild because everybody can't be that.
Exactly.
But they try. They try their hardest. He said he's smoking the OG gelato. Even when they looked in the mirror, they could not see no 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 clearer.
That's wow.
You always looking in the mirror. I said everything is just a reflection of you in a weird way. How? I don't know. It's hard to explain that shit. But it's not. It's not hard to explain. It's not hard to explain.
It's not. We say it's hard to explain because deep down we know the way we see it exactly how we see it. We're not going to be able to perfectly translate it unless it like the time comes to that person and they realize it like you do. So that's why we'd be trying to say, "Oh, I can't explain it." Well, we do explain it perfectly. It's just the way other people don't understand it well. We have that deep in mind, so it's like, "Oh, I can't explain it," because we'd be trying to stop ourselves so other people don't misunderstand what we really seeing. You feel me?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I always do when I be talking about God. But UL said it's the same thing as God. They don't really understand what it is yet.
Because it's never going to
Yeah,
be anything. It's just there.
if everything is made from one thing, there's only one thing that it can draw to make other things. It's itself. So
Yeah, it's
everything is
itself.
God. There's no separation. It's all the same. We put the difference between right and wrong, good and bad, up and down, male and female. It's just this
Yeah.
one thing that's experiencing itself through itself.
So who called God God? Did God call God God, or did we call God
That
God?
well, this is an English language, and I'm sure you could probably trace back to the first time it was used, but it's also been called many different things over the time, right? In different languages.
If you want to hear my translation for the Spanish of it, Dios. If I see yo te dio, like él te dio un regalo, that means somebody gave you something. So the word Dios is the giver.
The giver.
Like the present,
Like
what was
adios.
given. Yes, to say adios is to say to God, but Dios is like you when you hear it in Spanish, you know Spanish very well. It sounds to you like this was given, this was a present. Dios, I was given this by this presence.
Oh, you said the volume is low. That's probably my volume because I got this
And then
microphone.
the I is in the middle of the word dos, which means two. So that means the individual is in between the spirit and the soul. Dios.
Dios.
You see?
Wait, say how you say it one more time.
Dios.
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 Dios. No, the full thing that you said because you.
Oh, the I is in between, is inside the word two. So it's Dios, dos. So it's pointing out that it's intertwined between soul and spirit, and the I sits in there. You get what I'm saying? So you are in the soul and spirit, and you were given this presence. This was given to you, this present of presence. So that's how it's heard. You feel me? Like there's a lot of ways to see it in Spanish too, the same way there is multiple ways to see it in English. So, but those are the main ones I like seeing. That make the most sense to me.
It's kind of weird, right, George? Because I feel like nothing existed before language.
Yeah,
because there wasn't nothing here to explain it and say what it was. Everything was just being.
It was it wasn't a TV show. It wasn't, yeah, like nobody was able to reflect. There was no reflection.
Yeah.
It was just headlights.
Yeah, and it was just going. And then we came up with language, and then and you know, it began to say what it was.
And we said enough we could see ourselves, and everyone was like, "What do you mean? We can already see ourselves."
Yeah.
Hey, don't tell them that they can see themselves. Don't tell them that.
Don't tell them that.
Invent the mirrors. Stop trying to tell them. Well, shut the fuck up.
UL said, just think about it, how when people flew to certain areas with tribes, how they thought those people were God, because the man doesn't know what man is yet. It's still reaching potential. Yeah.
Mhm.
What does Pinchy
Oh,
George
God.
Master Creator talking about what does Pinchy Puto mean?
All right, the word pinche means to nail in or to pinch really hard, and it means fuck in Spanish. So when you say pinche, you're saying you got pinched, motherfucker. Like that's what pinche means. So pinche puto means you're a motherfucking slut. Basically, it would be man slut.
Oh, Master Creator, you too much.
Wow.
But you get pinched a lot is basically when people say pinche pendejo. It means you stupid as fuck. People always kick you. People always it's like pointing out how dumb you are, but with the fact that you're aware that you're stupid.
Hey, it's crazy though, because I think that's when like most of the shit was like kind of created. Like I ain't saying that like it was already here, but like once the language started, that's when creation began.
Yeah.
That's when it really began. It, you know, kind of, I don't want to say, well, maybe to make sense, or we was able to put something on it, or basically explain what it was. Because just think at the time, like when we didn't have language, and like we was just like, not the language, not the words, but you know, like everything was just being, like the animals just be. They just be, and they just like go along. They're not trying to explain it. They just fucking
Oh
living.
yeah. If I could point this out, I was looking at animals the other day, and I like how animals are a form of communication that is like very special and novel to the earth, that manifests itself to enjoy just feeling that form of communication. God wants to
Yeah.
feel that, so it becomes an animal to go crazy. You get what I'm saying? So if you see like hyenas, the females have like a penis also, and they're basically like transgender, but they're always like laughing when they're stressed, but they're also laughing when they're about to kill something. It's just their insanity in a fucking animal. It's like a dog cat thing that like it's a fucking the females can have sex with other females as males. It's fucking weird as shit, bro. And I was just like, and then there was this monkey that sounded like it was instigating, and I was like, what the fuck? It sounds like it's going like ooh, but then it went crazy, and it was just like ooh 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 ooh, ooh. And I was like, damn, that form of communication just ping pongs itself inside that monkey.
Yeah.
Y'all give animals all this communication luck, but we animals too. We all on this earth. Like,
Yeah, we're the humans.
Look at us. They probably like, oh man, they ain't following God. They out here doing this and that. They should be more of a community. Or why they exit their community? Shouldn't they be fighting for whatever their ideology is? We don't know.
I just have to use animal because it's the conduit that we all agreed on, so I don't look crazy.
Understand? I'm just going for it.
In order so we all don't look wild. But UL said language was the start of stories. UL said language was the start of stories that created what people call civilization, mass groupings with people. Yeah.
Yo, please.
Yeah, but I gotta tap out, y'all. I gotta go help the family do what
I
they
gotta
doing.
tap out.
Yeah,
All right, I
gotta
win.
tap out. I gotta tap out, man. All right, Discord. All right, George, man, it was nice seeing you again. Ego, George, Grants.
Nice seeing you too.
See you every day.
I'm gonna stay in here. I'm gonna stay in here.
Everybody. But all right. Yeah, and all right, y'all, man. I'm about to go do my thing. I got a couple things I gotta do. But yeah, thanks for stopping by. And yeah, it's Friday. So I'll be back later though. I'll be back later for a long live probably tonight because yeah, I'm gonna be streaming the basketball game on TikTok. But what's up with it, Charles?